It's a move that the Jets made last week as the Jets continue to unload players. They trade for Michael Carter. They give up John Mechie, who they got in a trade earlier this summer from the Houston Texans. The Eagles have been looking for help on the back line, and they get Michael Carter in. Again, it could be a great nickel back in Philadelphia, which helps free up some other players there, and that will be a big addition for Vic Fangio. Jair Alexander also traded from Baltimore to Philadelphia and winds up as an Eagle. Now, Jair Alexander's first game as an Eagle could be Monday night in Green Bay against his former team. How's that for a little bit of a storyline? And look, here's a guy that the Ravens were impressed by but couldn't get on the football field. They traded to Philly, and that was not the only move the Eagles made. They also traded a third-round pick to the Miami Dolphins for edge rusher Jalen Phillips, who reunites with Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio in Philadelphia to upgrade Philadelphia's pass rush. So in the span of 1 week, the Eagles go out and add Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter. They are gearing up for a second half as they try to defend their Super Bowl title.
I mean, Lewis, Howie does it again. Howie Roseman continues to just make these moves. He's playing chess or some like advanced level of chess. When you look at what he does, Jalen Phillips was a name that had been floating around a little bit. Maybe other teams were interested. How do you like his fit in Philly?
You love Jalen Phillips. Look, Jalen just needs to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he's one of the most skilled pass rushers in the NFL. He looked like that when he came out of Miami and had come to Miami. Had come to the University of Miami from UCLA. He was a guy who's really, his career was in peril at one point in time, whether or not he was going to continue it. The dude has everything that you could possibly want. He reunites with Vic Fangio. And the same way with Jair Alexander, he has familiarity with his coaching staff. Michael Carter has familiarity with the front office. So really, the way in which they kind of structured this thing, as far as the guys that they went after, these weren't people that they didn't have history with in some way, shape, or form. Which Mike can tell you, that's one of the best ways to ensure, or rather, increase your likelihood of having success, is to have a history with guys. And none of these guys come in kind of like sight unseen or without knowing anything about them. Somebody in the organization knows something about every one of these guys, which makes you much more comfortable to be so aggressive.
Yeah.
And they've kind of knocked it out the park on paper.
So one thing, Mike T, that I think is interesting is people look at it and say, well, you know, they're trading away draft capital, but the Eagles have accumulated so much draft capital that it's really still okay for them. How does Howie Roseman keep making these moves and making this team better along the way?
Yeah, they had a third-round pick from Hassan Reddick, which is really unbelievable. You go back a couple years ago when they traded Hassan Reddick to the Jets to get a third-round pick. Now, ironically, that pick goes back to the Jets. Joe Douglas, the GM at the time of the Jets, is now part of the Eagle front office again. So it's really a lot of permutations to this trade. But here's what I would say. Jalen Phillips is a risk-reward because he tore his Achilles, tore his ACL, but for what they gave up, it's a very reasonable risk this time of year. I was a little surprised that if I was the Dallas Cowboys, guys, why is Jalen Phillips not a Cowboy? Why would you let him go to a division rival? And then with everything going on with Adam Stone today, the one other name I thought we'd hear about would be like Bradley Chubb.
Bingo. There's another name we're waiting on. Like, again, there were calls. I was told this morning they doubted they would deal him. Doubted. Now, again, it is 3:39, 21 minutes to go to the trade deadline. We'll see if Bradley Chubb's name comes up. But in regards to Jalen Phillips, here's the other sneaky benefit of that trade to the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, Jalen Phillips becomes a rental. You try him out in Philadelphia, he tries you out, you get a look to see whether or not you'd want to continue that relationship. But if Jalen Phillips leaves in the offseason and goes and signs a free agent contract, then the Eagles get a compensatory draft pick back in 27. So
I mean, you got
give up a 3 now, you get a 4 then. Like
you got to go after Jalen Phillips. So he's only 26 years old. Bradley's what? Bradley's 29 now. Will be 30. I mean, you can see why he's the more coveted of the two.
Yeah, but like you said, he's got to stay healthy.
There you go. There you go.
Let's talk about A.J. Brown really fast here, but I don't want to run out of time here. He's a name that's been floating around. Obviously, he's put out a bunch of cryptic messages. We're trying to figure out if he's happy or unhappy or what's going on. Any news there, Adam, or possibilities here as this deadline is counting down?
Well, again, 20 minutes to the deadline. We've said it before. We'll say it again. They were never planning or expecting or trying to trade A.J. Brown. He was going to be there. Their business is acquiring elite players, not unloading elite players, and they view A.J. Brown as an elite player. And here's the thing, Laura. If you decide you want to trade A.J. Brown in the offseason, when you reconvene, you can get the same compensation then that you could now. maybe more, because the pool of teams bidding for his services would be even larger. So, again, no trade for A.J. Brown, and there will be no trade of A.J. Brown. He's safe in Philadelphia.
Here we go. All right.
Is that breaking news? Should we tweet that?
Let's put that on the bottom line, okay?
We'll do that too.
We've got more big news coming. As Adam has already told you, there will be another move that happens before this deadline hits zeros. We'll bring that to you as soon as we know about it, of course. Right here on our special, as we do continue to count down.
Work earlier in the week, Howie Roseman here when we talk about Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II. Ran Howie Roseman using the bye week to the full effect there for the champs.
Howie, oh, Howie. Nobody does business like Howie Roseman. And that's my Gator brother, and I have a ton of respect and love for Howie. But Howie he's like a trader. He's like Bobby Axelrod. He understands the stressed market and how to come in and get something for the cheap that he could use in this particular time, and then make his own decision on if it's an asset he wants to continue to deal with or offload, and then be able to get the benefits off of it. And what I mean is you bring on a Jalen Phillips, right? And like Kyle said, for a rental, a guy that's already played in Fangio's system, so that's going to be plug and play next week, coming off of the bye, because I'm pretty sure Fangio has given up his bye week. The defensive line coach has given up their bye week to get Jalen Phillips caught up to speed. But then if you decide to not move forward with him and he goes on and he signs a big deal elsewhere, you get a comp pick in 2027, which could potentially be a third-round pick. So you'll be getting your third-round pick back, because if you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you play up to what you're capable of, that pick's going to be in the bottom of the third anyway that the Dolphins are getting. So, again, Howie Axelrod pulls it off again and gets another guy.
And getting Alexander and Phillips and Carter, when you look at the two positions they've had problems with this year, it's been the third corner and it's been the pass rush. And so he looked at it and he said, I got to go address this. Now, where does Alexander fit? You'd say that on other teams, because Alexander, look, as good a player as he is when he's on the field, he can be a little bit diva-ish, and so how does he fit inside? And I love the guy. How does he fit inside that locker room? If Alexander is focused and ready to go, that's a good pickup too. And Michael Carter's been a good nickelback in his time. That could be a good pickup too. So I think you mentioned it. Howie Roseman gets it. He also had 3 third-round picks this year with the ability to trade one of those to go get Jalen Phillips. So he knows how to play the game.
I like what you said, that Vic Fangio had his guy and now he's got him again. And there's no substitute for more rushers, more fresh legs, more guys with that carrot dangling in front of them. And when they're rotating bodies in and out like the Eagles have, particularly on the line of scrimmage, it's a nightmarish team to play against as an offense, particularly an offensive lineman. And I think Jalen Phillips will have a lot of spark, a lot of juice to bring to this defense.
A couple things here. Jair Alexander, 2 games started for the Ravens, was actually more of a healthy scratch than he was with Baltimore, so potentially fresh fit. And also in-house reinforcements are coming for Philadelphia too, coming off of their bye week there. All right, 20 minutes away from the deadline to the top of the hour. We'll take a break here.
Lấy như nhiều content tí xong về góc thành một video dài luôn. Nó mẹ phải thể chơi. Đúng rồi, bạn nghe rồi. Đúng rồi, nghe rồi. Mở nhiều tab hơn con này lên thôi. Về lách thì vẫn lách được bình thường. Năm giây rồi này. Đây đây, cái này đây, để mày. Đây này. Các câu sau đây là các câu là phải các câu ở đây này, các câu không còn thêm này. Rồi, lúc ở đây nhé. Gắn kia vào đúng không? Phải vào được đúng không?